What's the difference between look at, look up, and look through? Should we hand in, hand out, or hand over our assignments? And do we take in, take down, or take on new information? Let's find out. Hello everyone, Anna here from Englishlikeanative.co.uk. Today we are exploring 20 common phrasal verbs that are particularly useful for, but not limited to, students and teachers. We'll break them down one by one and then bring them all together in a very dramatic short story that may or may not be true. I will reveal all later on. Oh, and you can also download your worksheet for this lesson by clicking on the link below. And this worksheet will help you to remember what you've learned today. So let's begin with look at. Look at simply means to direct your gaze towards something, to fix your eyes on something. For example, the teacher is going to look at my artwork this afternoon. It can also mean to consider or think about something. For example, the school is looking at options to improve the playground. Next, the phrasal verb look up. This means to search for information on the internet or in a reference book. Like, let's look up the word flabbergast in the dictionary. Ooh! And the final phrasal verb using the verb look is look through. Hello! This means to examine something carefully, such as, I'll look through your test paper this evening and give you your results tomorrow. So that's look at, look up, and look through. Moving on to hand in. This means to submit something, like, don't forget to hand in your assignments, the deadline is Monday morning. So that's hand in. Hand out means to distribute, as in, okay class, I'm going to hand out the worksheets now. And hand over means to give something over to the control or possession of someone else. Often, but not always, this is under duress, so it's something that you have to do. For example, if you're caught using your mobile phone in class, you may have to hand your phone over to the teacher. Hand in, hand out, and hand over. Now, let's explore take in. In the context of learning, it means to understand or absorb information. For instance, it took me a while to take in all the details of the lecture. Take down is about making notes or recording something very similar to write down. As in, I need to take down the important points from this meeting. And take on means to accept a responsibility or challenge. As in, she decided to take on the role of team leader. Take in, take down, and take on. So next we have something that you don't want to do. Fall behind. Fall behind means to lag or not keep up with something. This will happen during a course if you are unwell and you can't attend your classes. All the other students will now be ahead of you in the course while you have fallen behind. Okay, you will likely work hard to catch up, stating, I can't afford to fall behind in my studies. Now, catch up or catch up with means to reach the same level as someone or something, like, I need to catch up with my classmates in maths. Read up on is about acquiring knowledge by reading. For example, I need to read up on the history of this topic. Miss out on. This means to lose an opportunity. You fail to make use of an opportunity. As in, sorry guys, I gotta go. I don't want to miss out on this chance to go to Australia. See you later. Go over. This means to review or examine something thoroughly. such as, let's go over the running order for the summer fete again, and sign up. I'm sure you're all familiar with this one. It's about registering or enrolling in something like, have you heard about my pronunciation course? Lots of students have signed up. Next on the list we have figure out, which means to solve a problem or understand something like, I need to figure out how to complete this task. Now, figure out is similar to work out. The workout has two meanings, so it can mean to resolve an issue, to figure it out, to resolve the situation, or it can mean to exercise. For example, we need to work out this problem together. Or I work out at the gym every day. And then we have find out, which also means to discover information, like, the students will be so excited when they find out that they all passed with distinctions. Now, find out differs from work out and figure out because finding out can happen with or without intention. So I may just hear some news. I found out. I just heard it. Whereas figure out and work out require intention and effort. I've got to work hard to learn this, to figure this out, to understand and find the solution. Okay, so let's quickly run through those again. Run through. That means to quickly examine or to look at a set of things. So we will run through the list now, and then I will thrill you with my dramatic short story, and you have to see if you can spot the phrasal verbs in context. And remember to download your worksheet so that you can go through the exercises after class. Go through. This is the last one on our list, and it means, go through can mean many different things, but here it means to practice. So the list is look at, look up, look through, hand in, hand out, hand over, take in, take down, take on, fall behind, catch up with, read up on, miss out on, go over, sign up, figure out, work out or work out, find out, run through and go through. Now it is story time. Are you ready? It was 1998. I was at college, sitting in my A-level maths class, looking at an algebra equation on the board, panic-stricken. For reasons I won't go into, I had fallen behind, and despite my best efforts to catch up with everything, I just couldn't seem to get to grips with my algebra. The teacher seemed to sense my discomfort with the material and asked me to hand in my work. I reluctantly refused, stating that I knew I'd got the wrong answer, but I didn't really understand why. In an extremely cold manner, he stood over me and held out his hand, insistently requesting my workbook. I handed over the little work that I was able to do and sat there watching the teacher look through my scribbles with a frown on his face. Finally, he looked at me. He wasn't happy. He then proceeded to humiliate me in front of the entire class by copying my incorrect work up on the board and asking everyone to figure out where I had gone wrong. He then made everyone go over the lesson that I had missed in order to bring me up to speed. I was so embarrassed. When the bell rang, I stormed out of the class with tears in my eyes. I decided never to step foot inside that classroom again. Instead, I grabbed a prospectus and looked up creative arts courses. That afternoon, I had managed to sign up for a drama course, which was tricky as I had already missed out on the first 4 weeks of term. When my maths teacher found out I had ditched his class, he was very disappointed in me. In me, not in himself. It seems he hadn't worked out that the reason I left was because of him. My new drama teacher couldn't be more different from my maths teacher. He was delightful and so welcoming. In my first class, the students were going through some Shakespeare scenes that they had been working on. A young girl handed out the scripts and everyone stood up and got into position. I was asked to take on the role of narrator. Talk about throwing me in at the deep end. My first read was awful, and I instantly doubted my decision to join the acting course. In the following weeks, I spent my free time reading up on Shakespeare. It was a lot to take in, but I didn't give up. And during class, I made sure to take down notes in every single class. Then, during our final run-through of our Shakespeare scenes, I finally felt like it was starting to make sense to me, and I gave a reasonably good performance. Did you spot all the phrasal verbs? You can return to this timestamp in the video to listen again. Otherwise, the answers can be found on the free worksheet. The links are below. So the question is, was that a true story of my time in college? And the answer is partly. Partly. Yes and no. I did have an awful experience. That awful experience in my A-level maths class. And that made me switch to a drama course instead. But I wasn't thrown straight into performing Shakespeare. No, it was much easier than that. Now, phrasal verbs might seem challenging at first, but with practice and with these real-life examples, you can master them. So if you're in the mood for some more phrasal verbs, then check out this video. I'll put a link down below. This is all about phrasal verbs that you may use if you're driving. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and until next time, take very good care and goodbye.